Allow me to introduce our first guest for today. The German eagle has had different names and designs over the years, reflecting just how much political upheaval it has seen. At the turn of the 20th century, Germany was a constitutional monarchy. After World War I, the Weimar Republic was established, bringing with it Germany's first taste of democracy and universal suffrage. But just 14 years later came the Nazi dictatorship. After the Second World War, Germany was split in two, with each new state heading in completely different political directions. In the West, a parliamentary democracy was re-established under Allied supervision. In the East, a communist dictatorship, largely controlled by the Soviet Union, took hold. That brings us to this very room here in the city of Bonn. It was specifically designed to house the West German parliament, which had outgrown its previous home. But not long before the project was finished, the Berlin Wall fell, and it was decided that Berlin would be the capital of a newly reunified Germany. So it was goodbye to this place, and hello to this one, the Reichstag building in Berlin. The Bundestag, or federal parliament, is directly elected by the German people. But there's another part to the German legislature. This is the Bundesrat, made up of state leaders and other politicians appointed by the state governments. Its main function is to vote on legislation put forward by the Bundestag. The highest political office in Germany is that of the federal president, hence the fancy residence. Then comes the president of the Bundestag, and then the chancellor. But of course, the chancellor gets a lot of the limelight, especially internationally. There's no limit to how long someone can hold this office. Both Helmut Kohl and Angela Merkel racked up a whopping 4 terms or 16 years each. Federal elections take place every 4 years, and they're only open to German citizens over the age of 18. Oh. That counts me out then. Check out this ballot paper. Looks complicated, right? But basically, the electoral system is a mixture of plurality voting and proportional representation. And every voter gets 2 votes. The Erststimme, or first vote, is for a candidate from the local constituency. The candidate with the most votes is elected to represent the constituency in the Bundestag. The Zweitstimme, or second vote, is given to a party. The proportion of votes they get in this part of the ballot will then be reflected in the number of seats they get overall in Parliament. Still confused? Let's look at it like this. Let's say that 150 candidates from a particular party are directly elected in the first vote. The party then gets 30% of the second vote. There are 598 permanent seats in the Bundestag, and 30% of 598 is 179 to the nearest whole. So that's the number of representatives the party must have overall. They already have 150 from the first vote, so now they get to send 29 more. Each party has a list of candidates, so they take 29 extra candidates starting from the top and working down. But if the number of candidates directly elected in the first vote is higher than the number of representatives the party should receive according to the second vote, then they have extra seats, known as Überhangmandate. In this case, the other parties are granted more seats too, known as Ausgleichsmandate, until the proportion is correct. This means the Bundestag is not always the same size. After the 2017 election, there were 709 members of parliament, making it the largest freely elected parliament in the world. There is one caveat. Parties must reach at least 5% of the second vote or win 3 seats in the first vote before they can send any party list candidates to the Bundestag. This threshold is aimed at maintaining stability and avoiding fragmentation in Parliament by eliminating small fringe parties. One consequence of the voting system in Germany is that coalition governments are the norm. The party that wins the most seats overall is still unlikely to have an absolute majority, so it will need the support of one or more other parties in order to govern.
Die Koalitionen an sich sind ja keine schlechte Sache.
Finde ich eine sehr tolle Idee.
Grundsätzlich finde ich das gut, um die Meinung der Bevölkerung abzubilden.
Das dauert natürlich dann vielleicht auch immer, sich dann wirklich mal auf so eine Sache zu einigen.
Man trifft sich oft in der Mitte, muss Kompromisse eingehen. Und das halte ich schon für richtig. Ja.
Naja, ich finde es eigentlich nicht so gut, weil ich habe das ja so dann eigentlich nicht gewählt.
Wenn eine Partei die meisten Stimmen bekommen hat und dann aber trotzdem nicht an die Regierung kommt, weil durch eine Koalition von anderen Parteien diese Partei dann ausgeschlossen wird, dann ist es nicht der Bürgerwille, der repräsentiert wird.
Each coalition combo gets a nickname based on the party's colours. For example, the Jamaica Coalition, the Traffic Light Coalition, or the Kiwi Coalition. All this negotiation can mean that election night is a bit of an anticlimax. You know who's won the most seats, but not necessarily which parties will be in power. In 2017, it took 5.5 months for Angela Merkel's Christian Democrats to form a coalition government. They ended up back with the Social Democrats in a union known as the Große Koalition, Big Coalition, or more catchily, the Großkohl. Let's see which parties have made it into parliament in recent years. The Left Party has its roots in the German Democratic Republic, and most of its voters still come from states in the former East. The Social Democratic Party has traditionally been the party of the working classes and trade unions. The Greens are most popular with well-educated younger city dwellers. The Christian Democratic Union, together with its Bavarian sister party, the Christian Social Union, is popular among churchgoers, rural voters and the over 60s. The Free Democratic Party has its base among the self-employed and business owners. In 2017, Alternative for Germany became the first far-right party to enter parliament since the late 50s. Its voters are mostly male, Eurosceptic and anti-immigration. One way to get a flavour for what the parties stand for is by checking out their Wahlplakate or election posters. These go up suddenly overnight, and it's first come, first serve, with volunteers seeking out the best lampposts in town to get their message across to voters. The slogans and designs have varied over the years, from clever to obscure to downright weird.
Ob jetzt Wahlwerbung wirkt, kann man letztlich gar nicht sagen. Ich glaube, es wird jetzt nicht so sein, dass man sich jetzt Wahlwerbespots und ein paar Plakate an der Straße anschaut und sagt, nee, die SPD ist nichts mehr für mich, ich wähle jetzt CDU. Jeder Wähler weiß, das sind die großen Probleme der nächsten Jahre und die kann man dann an einer Hand abzählen und die müssen gelöst werden. Und deswegen ist dieser Zuschnitt auf Personen, auf starke Führungspersönlichkeiten ungemein wichtig. Und ich glaube, da öffnet sich etwas in Deutschland, was natürlich noch lange nicht so ist, wie wir es jetzt in den USA kennen. Aber ich glaube, dass diese Personenzentrierung wichtiger wird. Sie wird nicht alles, aber sie wird wichtig.
Join us over on Instagram for a deeper dive into German elections and politics. And let us know what you think of the German electoral system in the comments. I hope I can count on your vote, or at least a like.